Just realized I have my little rig here that can hold the phone. So I have both hands free, which is nice. Um, so I wanted to sort of share a little kind of real-time application of Kabbalistic principles, how I work with the Tree of Life, and you can have whatever opinions you want about that, in terms of whether I'm doing it correctly or interpreting things correctly and whatnot, yada, yada, yada. I'm not claiming any kind of ultimate authority on the subject by any means, so this is just kind of what I do, how I use it, and yeah. So that's the preface for this one. I need one more card. I must have skipped it. Death, where are you? There you are. All right, so since yesterday evening, I found myself in a bit of unhelpful headspace. And I was thinking about it just now in the shower, which is why this is not real time, because it happened like a moment ago in the shower. But it's as close as I can get us. So in contemplating it, going over it in my own head, I mentioned the name or the word futility. And immediately this guy popped into my mind, the Seven of Swords. And of course it is mirrored because I'm using the front camera, but it's called futility. It says there at the bottom in the Thoth deck. So I was like, oh, okay, Seven of Swords, that's where I am. Now, where do I want to go from here? Right, so from the Seven of Swords, let me show you here, the Tree of Life, right? So the sevens are in this sphere over here, the Venusian sphere. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it goes like zigzag, like a lightning pattern down the tree there. So you can see that from there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different paths into different spheres, either Malkut, Yesod, Tiferet, or Hesed. Those are represented by the numbers 4, 6, 9, and 10. And oh yeah, of course you could also go across to the Mercurial sphere, which is the 8s. So actually, let me also go through and just to show you what I mean, let me also go through and find the 8 and 9 of Swords in particular. We could look at the 10 as well. It's also not a very pleasant one. If I can locate them, where are you? There's the 9. And the 10, there you are. All right. So if we go down the tree, right, or across would be this guy, Interference, the 8 of Swords. Originally the Lord of Shortened Force, if I remember correctly, and the 7 is actually called the Lord of, what is it? It's been a while since I've rehearsed those titles. I know this one though, the 9 of Swords, the Lord of Cruelty and Despair. And then there's the 10 of Swords, the Lord of Ruin. And they are also called Cruelty and Ruin here. So if we go down or across, and across is also kind of down because the Venusian sphere is the 7th emanation and the Mercurial one is the 8th. So it's down in that sense. It's downstream, the sequence of ideas that we're working with. Okay, so we want to go up, right? At least in this case, that was my thinking, was, okay, I want to go up. I don't want to go down into those lower spheres because they are not very pleasant. That's not really going to help me. Unless, I suppose, you could go down into the 10th sphere and because you understand that ruin, it sounds daunting, but it can also mean a kind of release. Like, you're done. Right? That's the implication. You're done. There's no more to be done here. There's no more to think about. So it's a kind of like complete letting go, which could be good. But I was thinking, let's go up the tree instead. So we could go up into Tiferet or Hesed, which is the 6th and 4th emanations. And we got the 6 of Swords is called Science, or the Lord of Earned Success. And we got the 4 of Swords, Truce, or the Lord of Rest from Strife. And the paths to get between spheres are the major arcana, right? So I didn't really pick out the ones that would take us into the lower ones, but I can tell you that it's the Tower to go across into the Mercurial sphere. It is the Star to go into the 9th emanation, and it is the Moon to go into Malkuth, the 10th final emanation. If we're going up, however, to go into Tiferet, the 6th emanation, we go through the path of death, which is why I was looking for that one before. And to go up into Hesed, we go through the path of fortune, or the Wheel of Fortune, Kaf. And then, of course, you could also say you could take like a 2-step journey through death first, and then the Hermit, or Virgo, and then you would also end up in Hesed. Or you could go through death first and then go from there, because the central sphere connects pretty much to the whole tree, except Malkuth, where you have to go through one of the lower 3. But then you could just go straight up into the crown if you wanted to, right? So depending on what you want to do, but here's my point about all of this, is that we should, or at least I try to not think of it as tasks to be done. It's more like what happened is that my awareness got concentrated in that 7th sphere of futility. And that's the Venusian sphere, so it has a lot to do with aesthetics, and how you feel about things, and how, what kind of meaning you assign to things. So it's like, it means too much to you. Whatever's going on in that sphere, oftentimes that could be a signification, that it means too much to you. You're too invested in it personally. You're taking it too personal. And that's what I'm thinking is going on here with the 7 of Swords. It's like, because it's the Moon in Aquarius as well. So Aquarius, it's sort of like expansive in a way. Like, you're looking at a big situation, a set of circumstances that you feel like you want to do something about, or there's something not right about it, but you can't, right? You're kind of at the mercy of whatever circumstances there are. And that is where we get the futility, right? It's like, it feels futile. Whatever I do here is not going to solve the situation. And if you move up into science, science is more like, because it's the solar sphere, so it's more like confidence. Science means to know. So that's the sphere where we could sort of tell ourselves that at least I know what's going on. At least I have that knowledge, and that you could take some kind of solace in that compared to the futility. Then you have the 4, which is Truce, or the Lord of Rest from Strife. And it's differing from the 2 of Swords, which is Peace. So it's not quite a complete resolution of whatever issue is at hand. It's more like a, temporary withdrawal of sorts. It's like, okay, this is what it is, and I can't do anything about it, but that's okay. It's kind of like that. Instead of being like, I can't do anything about it, you're more like, okay, I can't do anything about it. Shrug, And it's not that, like, again, it's not a complete resolution. It's not, in that sense, a completely happy ending, if you will. But it is better than being in the throes of this kind of passion that cannot find an outlet, which is what I feel like futility in a lot of ways represents, to me at least. So how do you move through, how do you employ these paths, right? So two options here, if we want to go up from the 7. We go through death, we go through the wheel. Both of these have to do with a kind of acceptance or surrender, but they're slightly different modes, right? Where death is more of like a transformation, and it feels more like something you're doing, I would say. It's not quite totally something you have total control over, but you have some kind of, there's a participation to it that is just not quite there in the wheel in the same way. The wheel is more like throwing the dice, right? The wheel is more like spinning the roulette wheel, and it's like, it's out of your hands, right? And it makes sense if you think about where they lead, to the 6 and the 4, that to the 6, it's more of a personal transformation, and you're finding some kind of inner reconciliation in your own confidence about your knowledge. Whereas with the wheel, you're ending up in truce, you're going up into truce. So it kind of makes sense if truce is more like a letting go, something a bit more impersonal, if you will. So, and again, to come full circle and finish the explanation here, what I'm saying is, don't think of it as like, I'm in one place, I want to go to another place. It's more like, once you start recognizing I'm in this place, and you start thinking about what's around this place, that's already the process happening. You don't necessarily need to actually do something in a literal sense, other than make yourself aware of what your options are, and then it kind of just happens. That's at least my experience. I don't really have to make decisions in the way that we normally think about it. Like, I have to decide, oh, I want to, I'm here, I want to go there, or I want to go there, make a decision between these paths. It's more like, as soon as I start contemplating what the paths are and where they lead, I'm already kind of there. You know what I mean? I'm already doing it. So yeah, that's what I would say. I think that's about as much as I can say. Of course, I can keep talking for a long time. I'm not going to, because I'm already coming up on 14 minutes here. And I really just wanted to make, the videos as short as possible, for convenience, you might say. So I think I'll just leave it off here. I'm also just realizing I gotta go trim my fingernails as well. They could kind of use a trim. I didn't really need to tell you that, but whatever. There you have it. Here's my long ass fingernails. They're not that long, but yeah. One more final word, I guess. We're coming up on 15 minutes now. We're just past the 14-minute mark. Is about just the style of the video and everything. I just wanted to say a quick word. That this whole thing, remarking about my fingernails being in need of a trim and stuff, it's part of a new thing, or not a new thing, but like, I'm trying to be less performative, essentially, is what I'm doing here. I'm trying to just be real with you, just, show up as I am, long or short fingernails, shaved or not, whatever, and not be self-conscious about that, and not make any kind of big deal about any of that stuff, because it doesn't really matter, right? So I just, do what I want to do, which is share my knowledge and experience, and hope that it benefits someone somehow. So let's let that be that. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.